Probably at 8:30.
Yes,
Promptly at 8:30.
you betcha. Okay, good. Why don't we just start with her since she's here and
Oh,
I'm not sure where Leanne is.
where's your clock?
Right
I think you had me at 8:45, but I just need to request an executive session to talk about non-elected personnel.
How long?
10, 15, 10, I don't know.
10. I'll make a motion to go in executive session to discuss non-elected personnel for 15 minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
We have a
Oh,
motion,
sorry.
we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
I almost said it too.
Motion passes. So do we just acknowledge that we've done the employee performance review on Beth Keesler?
And
And accepted it?
Yep. And she'll be retiring in
September 30th.
September 30th. Okay. Got anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of May 4th. Get out.
Second. Just kidding. We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll make a motion, we accept the tax roll credit.
Second.
Guys,
We have a
Corrections,
motion and a
sorry.
second to accept the tax roll corrections. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And I guess we're waiting for Russell, Lynn Russell.
Well, I think that was it.
Yeah, she's not here. I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, we'll recess.
9
Recess
o'clock
for
for
Carl.
for the budget.
So Leanne, is this Grace Walk, is this kind of what the old, is this tied in with circles or?
No, it isn't, it's an
Okay.
independent,
Okay,
yeah, and there are some people that hopefully I can take to another level in their recovery that, because they're not attending meetings, they need to do that, stuff like that. We just had somebody relapse, it's pretty hard. You'll notice down on the bottom of the page on the pricing that it's administrative management. I haven't started any of that. I don't have any office costs right now. I'm doing it out of my home, but if we get busy, I will have to maybe get an office over here in St. John. Right now I'm over at just my house. And I'm not gonna charge Grace Walk rent.
so total 3-month budget.
We had talked about me coming every quarter and answering questions and showing you what we've done. I really don't know in this first quarter if I'll spend all this money, but this is what will eventually start happening. And so I thought, well, I don't know. Once people find out about it, they might really jump in, and that'd be wonderful if they did. And we plan on advertising in the paper and putting out posters, doing all kinds of things to try to get people's attention.
So
Oh,
how much do we have in that fund total?
Let me look.
Because this is going to be quite a bit more than we have in that fund, correct? Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I did.
And that's okay.
Because originally I was just gonna ask for 10, and then I got to figuring it all out and going, oh, 10,000 isn't gonna be enough maybe. That is if it catches on and does well, and I hope it does, because we recently had some things happen in town that are very, very disconcerting about drugs and alcohol, and relapse and ODs, and, yeah.
I looked that day, what was it that day? Was it like 13 or was it
No, that's
30?
around 30.
30, yeah, 30 something,
Yeah,
I think is what that
but that's
was.
been building up for several years.
Yes, yes. And it's not, I mean, you're exactly right. We have that amount accumulated over several years and we
Mhm.
don't get a lot annually
Yeah,
into that
Was it
fund.
$800 or something?
Yeah, that was the
Annually?
last, uh-huh.
If this goes well and we get a lot of people, I'll ask other people for money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for like your driver's license renewals and fines, 5 people per month covering fines and renewing licenses. So are you gonna help them pay their fines?
I am, if they're clean and sober, have a sponsor and are coming to meetings.
And then the work attire and car repair,
Mhm.
gonna help them buy some clothes and
Yes.
get their cars working.
It's really important too, that the people who have been on opiates that are losing their teeth, get their teeth fixed, because when they go in and apply for a job, they can't.
That's a marker.
Oh, it is. I mean,
Yeah.
people take a look at them and go, I can't trust this person, they're on drugs. They might be clean and sober, but our mouth doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
mhm,
But I have yet to find a dentist. I was waiting for a lady to call me back with her name of her dentist, because Rosenberg won't take a new patient until the first of next year. And the other one, Heartland, wouldn't take anybody till October. I said, oh, I need somebody sooner than that. So anyway, I'll see what I can find. I'll keep finding, I'll find somebody that'll do this.
mhm. Okay, well, I think we just need to figure out exactly what's in our deal.
Yes.
I'd be in favor of doing a lump sum that would cover some of this and then trying to figure out exactly how much we're generating a year. It's gonna be tough because it's different every year based
Yeah.
on how much we collect
Sure.
from the sales, but
So are you saying we usually generate around $800 a year?
That's what it has been, yes, because we don't have that much around the area that we're drawing from.
But I wouldn't mind giving them a lump sum to get.
Yeah.
to get
But I would
going.
say once this lump sum is gone, then you're gonna have to find other sources of,
I'll start looking for sources before the lump sum's gone.
Yeah.
because I think this thing has accumulated for 20 plus years.
And we do need to do something with it, it's just sitting there.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions about any of the things that we're gonna be doing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And I think I'll set up for maybe some of them, if once they get jobs, to start trying to pay some of it back, so other people can get helped.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I'd
You know,
like them to be able to have a little responsibility.
I see, I mean, trying to figure out how to say this. It seems like there's a lot of, some people out there, I mean, they deserve a second chance and they need a helping hand and they'll take it, they'll do a good job with helping them. But then I would say there's probably over 50% that just look, I'll go get my teeth fixed, I'll have them pay for it and then I'll do whatever I want because nobody's
Right.
gonna boss me around.
Right, when they get the whatever they get done for us, whatever their need is, I will mention as I'm doing that it would be really good if they paid it off. And if I think that they are gonna be able to get a job, I'll ask them if they'll go ahead and sign some papers for so much money a month they pay us back. Even if it's just $25 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
when they first
So how
start.
long do they have to be clean and sober before you're gonna spend any money on them?
They have to be clean and sober for 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah. I think if they're clean and sober 2 months, and see, I'm gonna continue to take UAs.
So would that be weekly?
Mhm.
Okay.
And the UAs I've found go back 80 hours, and that, I didn't even know they had those,
Yeah.
so that was good. So I did. Hi, Leroy. I gave you the wrong time. I guess we were 8:30. I wrote it on my calendar as 9. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
It was before daylight savings.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm sure she held it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't tell you right. Yeah, I will hold their feet to the fire because they can fall away and they can be in trouble fast.
Yeah.
And we can't have that.
Okay. Well, we'll get the solid numbers on what we have for sure, and that's what I would be in favor of, is doing some sort of lump sum and then figuring out the distribution.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Here's
Yeah,
what it is.
great.
Sorry.
I'm a latecomer.
Yeah.
I
Now,
can
you're gonna have these meetings in Hudson?
What's
Or
that?
here? Where are you gonna have?
The
these?
meetings right now are being held in Hudson,
Okay.
but I talked to a young lady that I think's gonna start meetings over in Stafford. And I heard there was a meeting in Stafford. Is there a meeting in Stafford? Leroy, I was gonna ask you. Okay, because I'm gonna really try to encourage meetings in every town in the county. I'm gonna try to see if we can get some people.
So I know they were talking about starting up an NA group,
Yeah.
but I never
Mhm.
heard any more
And it's
about
good
it.
if there's a variety, because the lady that's starting in Stafford is a choices meeting. She doesn't go by 12 steps, she goes by, we have choices, and we have to make up our mind what we're gonna do with our lives, and
Mhm.
that's kind of how she goes with it. But ours is a Christian 12-step, it's in Hudson, and then the NA would be a good one too, yeah, so that everybody has a different angle they can go at. I didn't copy that.
Oh, okay.
Any more questions?
I think we're good.
Okay, well, get out of your hair, sorry I was late.
No, you're fine. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
As long as we're ready for Carl at 9, because he's hard to get along with.
We're not going,
Do you want to stay with me since you didn't get
I'd
the
be
help?
comfortable.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Pay for the gas over here. Is Luke coming over?
She already did.
Yep, she came over early.
Okay,
Yeah, we just flip-flopped to them.
okay.
Yeah, we're
How's everybody doing?
good. How are you?
All righty. You can do the budget first? I got 3 things.
Whatever you want.
Okay, I'll let you know first. We're gonna certify next week,
Okay.
a week from today.
Okay.
All the values then for 2022 will be locked after that point. And then the only time that it'll open back up is for payment under protest. And the people that already had a hearing can't have a hearing at that time. You only have one per calendar. So we're close, we're getting there. Haven't had too many questions on oil and gas or personal property, actually. Some discussion about some certain hot items, but all in all, no, not too many protests or appeals. So they have till Friday to appeal
To appeal.
to personal property. That's actually why we're waiting another week to certify. So there's a very small window on personal property to appeal. Very small.
So have you got all the golf cart deals?
So, no. There's some of the discussion. And some other things too, you
Yeah.
know. I brought you guys, I don't know how long ago it was, you know, about the razors that are being turned down by the Board of Tax Appeals and stuff. So that started another conversation.
That came up at our commission conference.
It did.
Yeah.
There's,
You want to share that thing?
Well, nothing really concrete
Okay.
came up about it. I mean,
He's just talking.
they brought it up. I think they're dead wrong. There's a place for exempt side-by-sides for farmers. I mean, there's no reason that.
Okay.
But then there's also the razors that never see a farm. So I don't know how you distinguish the difference.
what's your opinion, Carl?
You know, what's hard, and this is not gonna just do with the razors and so forth. What it is anytime there's a statute, except, especially for tax purposes, and you throw in except, there's your problem. Because there is so many exceptions, where do you go, you know, that you can use this all the way to airplanes. You know, what does predominantly mean? What does exclusively mean? You know, for these exemptions. There's no good answer. There's not.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. It's gray areas. It's, you know, personal property is on, it's up to the individual to render. But then there's a fine line to where when we know there's something out there
Mhm.
to do my job, you know, we're supposed to list personal property and so forth too. We can't, you can't ignore it. But do I have 100% of them? Absolutely not. You know, and then are some gonna be exempt? You know, and another problem is, I could put my razor at your house. And if you just do drive-bys for the appraiser's office, you're gonna get assessed for it, and that's not right. You don't own it, you just let me put my razor there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not like darn buildings,
yeah, it's just,
you know,
yeah.
it's there. You know, it's attached and they're there, you know. So, it's gray area. So, we're working on it, it won't go away, just to let you know. It'll always be a gray area. You probably remember years ago, same gray areas. So,
Yeah, it's just it's a tough deal, and I don't know how you would police it. I mean, I've got a Ranger, Polaris Ranger,
Mhm.
and I mean, it's just for checking
It's never
divots.
seen the dunes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's never been in the river, never been to the dunes, it's just used for burning CRP, working on irrigation. But then you got guys that have razors or the generals, and it's never been a work vehicle.
Yeah.
It's to run up and down the road,
Mhm.
but I don't know how you tell the difference.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of like, I have a lot of people that go, by golly, this ground that these out-of-state hunters are buying, it should be recreational because they're not grazing it. Well, if we go through all the work process of getting it recreational, and then they throw one cow out there, then it's being grazed.
And we know what the board tax bill is gonna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not worth the headache
Mhm.
because there's too many loopholes on the tax bill.
You get a bonus point for the morning. And that's exactly right. Okay, so the 17%, what I'm gonna go out and measure and review the buildings and the entire properties again this year is the west part of St. John. And I'll get with the city then, like we did Stafford last year, let them know I'll be there about when I'm gonna start. That way they, you know, people will be a little more relaxed and so forth. And then if they call the city, then the city can respond and they're gonna know where I'm at. The townships will be South Seward, West Cooper, Richland, York, and Clear Creek. So not much in the urban area, mostly in the rural this year. So that's where I'm gonna be at. After we certify, we normally wait a week or two to see if everything's good, before we
Start measuring.
jump into 2023, here we come.
Yeah.
So we'll start that here towards the end of May, then, 2023.
Okay.
On there. Already getting some vibes from the state. You know, they download the new replacement costs new every year in each county system, and then we have to update and so forth. Looks like the RCNs are gonna go up again this year, the replacement costs, the construction costs. And so, you know, we had that last year and the last 2 years. So we're gonna stay one more year at least for sure. So just giving you a heads up. We already got Donna's desk. It's actually a better setup now. We got, I don't know if you guys have been up there since it's been there. She actually has more room, but it doesn't look as cluttered. It's pretty nice like that. And OPI worked with us. They had a couple that was ordered and they didn't buy them. And that's one we got. And so we're kind of trying to do the same thing with Maryland's. Mine, I'm not gonna get a desk because the size of my desk, you can't hardly get. And I'm not keeping it.
Yeah.
So,
Not turning
you know which one it is, too. It's huge. So when we get a good deal on that, I think we'll go forward with that then also. On hers. Okay. The budget. Okay, I think it looked overall pretty good. I'll go to the budget first, and then I'll tell you something that's kind of coming up through the grapevine because of county appraisers. I'm going to kind of rag on my own profession today. So, all in all, it went up right at 1%. On the second page, you're going to give all the way over to the right. it'll give you the breakdown per employee, what I'm proposing for salaries and so forth, all the way over to the right, it breaks it down by each person. And that's where I come up with $155,185. And then I just rounded it on the front page to $155,190. The last page is just really something we do, and it gives you the high and the low, where I call around, we get the norm and the high and so forth from other counties, our size anyway, on there for each position. So on the front again then, I think everything stayed pretty much the same. I mean, some things went up, I don't think nothing, if I recall right. The only thing that may go down is on the objects, the 433, 11,600. With Eagle View, we're at 7, we're going on 8 years on their calendar, and we typically have been paying $1,000 just to use the service, you know, for the software and so forth, and our photography back in 2015. I'm kind of getting the vibes they don't want to do that anymore, that we're just going to be out. And then if we ever fly again, we can get back in.
That's pictometry.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the, well, and you know, we've talked with you guys, you know, about reflying and so forth and this, that, and the other, but, you know, and I'll tell you where I'm lost on, I'm confused on that is, you know, it's very expensive, we don't have the money, but yet we can't get the entities even to use it anyway. So, which disappoints me, but I know they have their own issues also, keeping people or having somebody qualified to do it. So, anyway, I know counties are flying, they're re-signing contracts, but it's a little different situation.
When you say entities won't use it, what do you mean?
Well, this pictometry, Eagle View, it's open to all the entities, the cities, the county, even everybody in Road and Bridge, you know. You can have Road and Bridge can use it, Sheriff's Department can use it. A lot of people can use it, but you got to have time and you got to be able to get in there and use it. The larger counties have a little more time. That's why pictometry is kind of pushing on them right now, is because they have people in each department that can work on it. And they use it very wisely and saves them some money. A lot of them are using it at this time of the year for budgets. We could come in and I could show you the 17%. You know, entities, what they do is they take the streets they repaired the last 2 years or what have you, color code them, and come in and they make a plan for their water or sewer without redoing the same pipe every year. It's time, you know.
When's the last time we flew?
2015.
So a Google Earth map would probably be more up to date than what our pictometer is.
Well, yeah, and the Google, remember the Google is, you know, there's a thing called fly with leaf on, fly with leaf off. We fly with leaf off. It's not as pretty, but you can see the fields better, you can see everything better. Google's pretty, so they fly with leaf off on. DASK, that's actually who we're working with. That's throughout the state of Kansas, and we're actually using their photography in Orion now, because they're trying to fly at least every other year. It's not bad, not too bad actually. I mean, it'll work. We'll be okay.
Okay.
So.
It brings to mind about one of the selling points of that was way back when the tornado hit Chapman. But Dickinson County had a person that was running pictometry, and they said it cut down on the duplications of going and see where the house is abandoned, where the gas lines are at, and they were really high on it. But I could see that where, you know, where it became a disaster, like a tornado or whatever, that would be handy. But it's kind of fallen out of favor.
It has. It's used more now as technology for the entities and so forth. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good point. They didn't have that in Greensburg, you know, and you know, and I worked for Kiowa County, and I didn't know where I was at. You could even see the streets, the signs. And I measured those houses twice, and I couldn't get my bearings down where I was at. I mean,
Yeah,
so when FEMA and different places come in, they have no clue where they're at, but the maps do help, and it gets everybody in the sector. You're right. So anyway, we're across that, and when it comes, they might have a special, who knows, or maybe the state of Kansas will decide to pay for it like the state of Indiana did. So, anyway, so coming down through there, total budget would be $181,050, up 1% from last year with these changes and so forth there. So,
okay.
tried to make it all work and keep it within.
How much do you have in your carryover or your capital?
I typically don't have a whole lot. That's where we actually
You
put in
ate up some
there.
of that with desks and stuff.
Yeah, and that's what we started putting in for that to do a vehicle on the bottom part. Future budget, $1,000 for the copier, and then $2,500 for the vehicle equipment, and we want to try to at least hold that back.
Okay.
And that's pretty close then.
Yeah, because I mean, if your copier blows up, you gotta get some.
Yeah, yeah. And we try every 6 years, is kind of where we're at right now.
Okay.
Yep. So that's kind of put back to that. And that $610, that's what we pay to the state to maintain our iron. Extremely cheap
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, compared to others.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And then the only other thing that could be a problem for us is BODA is kind of getting tired of having hearings on special use properties. The Board of Tax Appeals wants it, BODA. And they've been talking with the Property Valuation Department, and they're kind of getting upset with the appraisers raising these values, and then they go to BODA and they don't have their documentation, but they can't explain why they raised the value.
Other than just because.
Just because the
Like
system
special use,
said-
like
Okay.
feedlots, grain.
Underground storage, when you get,
Okay.
part of the county,
Yeah.
state. Affordable housing is falling into this now, which we don't have that many of those. But it'd be the grain elevators, the feed yards,
Yeah.
the gas gathering facilities, the helium facilities, the cement.
Yeah.
We're just causing our own problems by doing stuff like that. And so what they're thinking about, what they're kind of trying to propose is BODA would like to see a written appraisal report on every special use property in a county. It causes a problem though, because they're time consuming and so forth. Some of the eastern counties, what they're getting is they're hiring a company to do this, which costs them about between $1,000 and $5,000 per written appraisal, but they're up to $10,000 to $15,000 when you get into the gas gathering facilities or the helium or the cement, what have you. I'm just bringing this up because we may have to address this, or I might have to address this. In the county, not everybody agrees with me, but I would like to do our own, if it comes to that, written appraisals. The reason I would rather try to do them is I don't think our taxpayers would appreciate somebody from Kansas City calling them and trying to get all their information. And I'll just use it as an example from like the Great Bend Co-op. They would not appreciate that, I don't think. And we try to, what I've always tried to do is I try to let these industries know what's happening before I even mail the valuation notice out. Most of these people don't even get surprised. They already know what's going on. I'd like to keep it that way. And then if we have to do this, I'll come back to you guys with a plan. I don't think we need to hire anybody and spend 40 grand on all these elevators if they don't appeal anyway.
Yep.
And I don't think you can do because the date of the appraisal is important when you go to the Board of Tax Appeals. If you had a grain elevator and we went to the Board of Tax Appeals and you seen the date on the county's information 2 weeks earlier than your appeal, that's a huge red flag. Because the only reason that appraisal was done was for what? It's for that hearing. It wasn't done to arrive at a fair market value. You see what I'm saying? That's for anybody.
So so people could just say, well, you're just doing the appraisal to justify the
Exactly.
increase.
Exactly. What I would like to do is if VODA and PVD, and it won't be a law, it'll be more of a, what I think it's gonna be is it's gonna be an addendum to our scope of work that we already do now, that I bring to you guys. And I think it'll just be an addition to that. But what I would like to do is I would like to, if we have to do this, I would like to spend, October, November, December. I would like to have that appraisal report written well before our appraisal date of January 1st. It's gonna hold a lot more water if we would have to go to VODA, to the Board of Tax Appeals, and the date on that report's gonna be well documented before the appraisal date.
How many of these special use do we have actually go to VODA?
Well, and see, that's another thing, we don't.
Yeah.
But the problem is what's happening everywhere else.
Yeah, will affect us, but
It
in
will
a way,
affect us.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like we have a huge issue as
We
far as
don't.
them appealing.
We
Because
don't.
we're basically just talking about the grain elevators and feedlots here.
We don't have a ton go to VODA
Yeah,
regardless,
No, we
right?
don't.
I mean,
No, we
because
don't.
you can generally solve things with a meeting
Beforehand.
beforehand in a face-to-face hearing instead of going all the way to.
The only problem would be is if they make it a mandatory thing, that I have to do these on all of them.
Yeah.
That would become the problem. Because I don't want to do it, I
Well,
don't
it's
want
a
to
good
do it
thing.
right now.
We don't have any underground gas storage or a big concrete facility or anything like that.
It's, you think when things aren't happening at home, you kind of forget about it, but then when you go to meetings and when you guys probably go to your stuff, you hear all kinds of horror stories of what's going on, and it kind of
Yeah,
think, well, I'm not going to deal with that.
it'd be bad if they ended up making a mandate, basically an unfunded mandate that's gonna cost us $30,000 when we don't need to. But I mean, that's kind of like the watermark voting ballots that they're thinking about
Yeah.
forcing us to do.
But we're having that figured out before that, and that won't cost us that much in this county if we can get a good little plan together. So,
Sounds
I
good.
think but that's kind of just a heads up. That's all I have, you guys. You have anything?
I've got a question for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like on mineral rights on ground, if I own a quarter of ground, I have the mineral rights, say it's irrigated and I pay $3,500. If I bought that same piece of ground and the mineral rights didn't come with that ground, my property taxes is still the same, isn't it? And whoever keeps those mineral rights, are
Becomes separate then.
they charged anything?
Not
Even
unless they're
though-
producing.
Yeah, so you can have mineral rights that I could sell, I mean, if I wanted to sell rice
$300
by,
an acre,
yeah,
$400.
so there's a value there, but they're not. So there's no incentive to leave those mineral rights with the ground. Is that ever gonna change in the state? Because there should be a value on those mineral rights.
Okay, and there's a statute for that. And guess who would value the mineral rights?
Yeah,
You three.
really.
The commission values the mineral rights. The problem is though,
How do you value them though?
well, just like you have knowledge.
Well, yeah, but you don't know till you know. I
Yeah.
mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's areas in this county that I would say the minerals are worth next to nothing, and then there's areas in this county that they're worth $1,000 an acre.
I would say,
But the areas that I think aren't very good could be good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's that.
I think they ought to have some kind of a value on them, I mean, and not worry about,
You would have to do a
Hitting the
flat.
height, just
Yeah,
a
you would have
flat
to do a flat.
And that's what
300.
you'd have to do.
yeah.
It would be the same across the entire
Yeah,
county,
yeah.
jurisdiction. Yeah.
Because these people that have broke off mineral rights and then they hold them for 30, 40 years, well, they're just hoping someday there's a well hit. But if they had to write a check for $200 a year, $250 a year, they might be more letting the rights go with the ground.
Go back with it. The problem is, you know, and I wish Lou was here for this, but none of that has to be recorded. That's why when you guys do oil, the deed research is extensive.
Yeah.
And they have to be 100% accurate on who's got those severed minerals and so forth.
Yeah, I just assumed the state come out with something to, like that would incentivize people to leave minerals intact, because it's a pain. It's a pain for everybody in the courthouse, it's a pain for the oil companies, it's a pain for everybody to have severed
The
minerals.
severed minerals.
But it's already, the large majority, I mean, we just did the Moody unit tax correction, and there's a stack this thick for one lease.
And that's one lease.
Yeah, and there's everything north of St. John's like that, basically.
Some counties do this, and I think they put like a $10 value on them, and over half of them is wrong. And the counties will admit it.
But
But they can't afford, they cannot
Yeah, you can't run
afford,
a title opinion on every tract of ground.
that's the problem.
So is that deal like where you put your golf cart deal out there for everybody having a 10-year-old golf cart, and then it's their responsibility to come in and show whether they have it or not?
It falls back on the taxpayer.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be a bad deal.
Severed minerals was a huge issue. Matter of fact, we almost had a meeting. Do you remember that?
No, I remember way back when there was a big severance tax.
It was a hot
And that was-
issue.
The governor at that time was Bill Graves. Wasn't it?
They was looking for revenue.
Yes.
They wanted to do that project for the wrong reason. They wanted to generate revenue. And the legislatures and so forth.
Was that on the stripper well classification too? Okay. If I had to,
Yeah.
if the county had to
What
pay
did Bill Graves?
a lawyer, what I pay a lawyer to do 1/4 of title research to make sure it's right, 100% sure, it would cost $4.7 million to do the county. To do every quarter in the county.
And you'd have to.
I think you would, if you were to sit here and say, okay, we're gonna tax Clay Agreement on his minerals, you would have to know that Clay Agreement owned his minerals. You would have to do a title research on them.
And then somebody has to
Or at
keep-
least on all the non-producing properties.
Yeah.
On the producing properties, you could go under the assumption that they're already correct because they've been
That's
paying
right.
taxes on them. So maybe, I don't know,
That's
if the quarter-
900 parcels.
an
I
eighth of the, yeah, I mean, not even an eighth.
A non-production quarters, yeah.
10% of the quarters in the county, maybe, I don't, maybe not even that much, have production on.
Yeah, I just don't like the,
Yeah.
but I mean, if I sold a quarter of dry land and kept the mineral rights, and like if you said the mineral rights are worth 300, I would
Yeah, they could
say,
be worth anywhere from 100 to 300, yeah.
but at 300, I mean, I'm sitting there with a asset I can sell for $48,000. But I'll never have to pay property taxes on it.
That's right.
I mean, that's what I don't like, that there's people there with an asset that they're not paying property tax on. But it's no big deal. I just was curious about that.
Yes, second good question there. It's, you know, yeah, and then you'd have to do it almost every year. Because it's amazing how many do change.
Yeah.
You know, the dad passes away and then that one goes to 4 different. And then where they do.
It'd be easier to tax recreational hunting land.
Yeah.
than it would be to do this, I guarantee it.
Yeah. All right, I can feel your pain.
So if you own the surface, but
Yes.
you don't own the mineral rights, whoever can go in and drill,
If they have a lease from the mineral owner,
and regardless where the landowner,
yes.
Yep. You can't stop them from coming on your property and drilling a well.
like say on your quarter of ground that you live
Yeah.
on, if you didn't own the minerals,
Right.
and Carl owned the minerals, and I got a oil lease from Carl, then I could.
You could drive right in the middle of the quarter.
Well, you have
Yeah.
surface owner rights.
Yeah.
Well, we
And-
asked
and-
Troy Frank about that.
But
Yeah.
You couldn't,
I mean,
you probably couldn't stop us, though.
I mean, Troy
That's not
Frank,
right.
Troy Frank's,
Don't buy land without the minerals.
Yeah.
Troy Frank's house, they don't have the mineral rights. They went in there and drilled a dry hole not 300 foot from his house.
Up north here.
Yeah,
You see, that's
that's a bad deal.
That is a bad deal, because zoning and oil don't go together,
Yeah.
you know. It's, yeah, and I wish there was something for that part, you know, if somebody has invested a dwelling out there and then they come in on and they have 10 acres and then they come in right behind their property line and put in this oil, the pumper and everything.
Put a Johnny Popper on it.
You know, they can't do nothing about it.
Yep.
We talked about some depressing things today, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started out on a high note.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to that. I'm gonna measure. Okay, well, that's all I have then.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Carl.
Thank you,
Might
Matt.
stick around just a second. I think are we done?
No,
Oh.
I have a couple things.
Never mind.
Yeah, we
I'll
got-
catch you later.
Okay, all right, thanks, everybody.
Here are updated landscaping bids, so one for each of you.
Are these all the same?
Yes. Share, Tom.
Share.
I'm not used to that. And this is kind of more what they were gonna do with what Angie kind of went over us with?
Yes.
$7,200
31.
and $3,100, so it's still 10 grand.
And that does include the concrete, or is the concrete gonna be on top of that?
Yeah, that concrete's gonna be on top of
Yeah.
that.
They probably set that out, I think. The concrete, they want,
Well, yeah, I don't think it says anything
Mm-mm.
in here about concrete. I don't even think that they're.
Have you showed this to Angie?
No, I just got it, so I'm gonna have her come look at it and then, do you want to look it over and then have her come back and visit with you guys?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have her come back.
Yep. That looks more reasonable though.
Okay, then, I think they asked you last week about the gymnastics thing. Would you consider letting her do Mondays for the month of June and July, or do you just not want to do that at all?
Mondays is fine with me.
I have selfish reasons, I guess, for
That's fine.
wanting to allow them to do it.
Do you have one participating?
yes.
Yeah, okay,
So
okay,
my vote's to let them,
Mondays.
but
That's fine.
okay.
I guess.
I'll go ahead and get a hold of her and let her know they can do Mondays. Okay, then this is just an engagement letter from Adams Brown to do our 2023 budget, so you need to sign off on that.
Do we know motion
Yes.
to sign?
Go ahead, Clay, you're good at motions.
Okay, and seconds and.
Yeah.
and all that.
Everything.
I'll make a motion, we go into contract with Adams Brown to do our budget. And authorize the chairman to sign the contract.
Second.
A motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
passes.
I did hear from a couple taxpayers at a birthday party the other day why we weren't gonna let them do little kids tumbling in a place they paid taxes to pay for, so
Yeah.
it's not just me, I guess.
It's just kind of the pits where, I mean, we have several other places that they could do it. And I mean, this is by far the nicest place we have for doing meetings and
Yes.
stuff like that. So,
The
that's my
the
only
difficult
problem.
thing is like when we tie it up on a regular basis on a certain day and then we
Yeah.
kind of ran into that.
I wonder if,
In their hours is what?
For this little summer session, it'll be 9:30 to 11:45.
In the morning?
And it's just for June and July. Now, since Lexi is going to school, is that gonna continue in the school year? Does
I
it-
don't, not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I figured that this might be it, so. And then the last thing I have is employee evaluations for Rob.
Is Nicole still working on there sometime?
She is. When they need somebody to cover, she does.
She like that?
Charlie Brown.
Mhm. Here you go, Charlie. Oh, here, there we go, there.
Okay, there's, you've seen that. And I've seen these.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't see one for Greg.
I think he's got it.
Right here.
Yep.
Rob needs to sign this one.
Okay.
When's your next trial there?
15th. I got a letter from the auditors. Clayton said goes right up. About any litigation pending against the county at this time. I don't know of any work comp or anything going, I'll send them a letter back, but I just was gonna check with everybody. Does somebody remember something I don't, or?
I don't think we've had anything that would there even be anything in question.
I don't think so either, but I thought, well, before I put my signature on the letter out,
We don't have any pending work comps or
I don't think so.
no accidents with county trucks or, oh, here. And then Rob needs to sign this one.
Okay.
Did you have time to look about cemeteries and townships?
I have not, but I will. That's actually on my little green piece of paper to remind me.
It's not
Enlarging a cemetery district.
large, you don't have it on your hand, so
No, it's on my,
it's not that important.
it's a, no, it made the lime green. Can't miss that sucker.
I wouldn't mind doing a, if we're done, doing a 5-minute executive session, discuss non-elected personnel.
Okay.
And then after that, we can adjourn with no action.
Yeah, I don't have anything else, do you?
No.
I did talk to, Survey, Randy, and he's supposed to be calling me, when he comes out.
Oh, I did get a text from Mr. Gilpin in regards to the Taylordale Cemetery. He's gonna find some volunteers and they're gonna clear out the dead wood. It's not really a nice word to say about a cemetery, but, and I told him he wanted to pile it up just south of the hill. And I told him that maybe we should put it near the ditch and maybe eventually burn it. But- And then we've got to find out about the headstone for that veteran.
Yeah, if
And
he'd
I
get
don't-
us the information, I don't have a problem with buying, just getting us
I
a good
I
quote.
have the information, whether, you know, we contact the Veterans Administration and say, you know, provide a headstone for this veteran,
I'd say, I don't have a problem with just buying one. I mean, it's not gonna be very much.
$500.
Or less, yeah, you would think.
What?
Yeah, hopefully you can get it for less. Doesn't have to be.
I just bought mine and it was $4,000. And
Yeah,
it
but
was
yours
nothing
probably looks like a
fancy.
mausoleum.
No, no. So, if you can buy it for 500, hey,
Well, this is just,
Good.
this is just a mark, it's basically like
Yeah,
the
just
one
a
we
little
bought a
mark.
couple of years ago when the county mowed.
well, usually I think the government will provide, I mean, it's just a white, you know, I mean,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that was.
So I don't know what the procedure is to contacting the VA
I can try.
and I can text you or email you his full name and
Dates.
what Philadelphia volunteer, whatever.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, because typically they say what unit they
Yeah,
served with.
but I have no idea about the other, there's another base there, remember? There was a post-rock base for a headstone.
Mhm.
But here again, since that cemetery had been used, the last time it was used was 1939.
Okay. I'll reach out.
Okay.
I make them, anything else? I make a motion that we go into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel and then adjourn after with no action.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.